we expose them to a program which is looking at how can they be, like I said, better individuals. And we have them there in a setting like this, although the activities that we do are very much different from what you do here. And what I'll do now is take you through some of the activities that we do out there. We look into life skills. Like we know, understanding yourself and understanding other people is really good, but where do you start? It is getting skills that will help you to cope with what is out there and for you to be a better individual. And that is one of the things that we do very well out there. And other than looking at some of the things that can help you as an individual, we try to encourage the youngsters who come out there to really look at setting their goals. We know that if you don't know where you're going, you will hardly get there. So it is very, very important for each and every one of us to know, where am I heading to? So that you can map your way to get there. So setting goals is one of the main aspects that we look at or deal with during the life skills program. We have other things that we do in the evenings, like the evening program that we have here. We'll have drama, whereby it is expressing yourself and learning from one another. And each and every of the skits that are done there has got a meaning, has got a theme. Whether to be a good person, to be a trusted person, to be a valuable person, every skit that is done has got a meaning. And then the other thing that we do is arts and crafts. And this is very, very important because most of the kids and youth that come to camp do not have opportunities to do these activities. In school, they are not exposed to these kind of activities. And so what we do is that we expose them to these activities, and what they do during the camp, they make something that they carry with themselves when they go back home as a reminder of what they did during the camp. This is one of the projects that we have here, making something that will make you happy when you go back home and you're feeling a little bit sad. You have that. Thanks to Heather, sometimes back she sent us some beads. Unfortunately, I didn't have any slides on that, but we make beads, we make necklaces. For those of you who are interested, I can show you more slides on that. They make necklaces and you take that home. They make bracelets, and so something, you do something that gives you a skill and also something that helps you to, you take something that will remind you about the camp. Other activities, we are very much into outdoor activities out there, and we do kayaking. This is one of the things that helps the people who come there, or the youngsters that come there, how to face fears. Most of them will not have known how to swim. So for an individual to go onto a kayak in a very big dam or in a river, usually it takes a lot of courage. So it is exposing them to facing their fears. And this is one of the activities that we do. Rafting is another activity that we do. Once again, it is skills and also looking at how can you work together with other people to make something that is going to help you to move from point 1 to point B. And once again, these are some of the skills that can be transferred back into the community. How can we work together? As some of you might know, a raft, you have to make it from the scratch. So you have to make something that will float and takes you from point A to point B. And so with that, we facilitate the activity afterwards and looking into, yes, what can we do? If we can do this, when we go back home, we can do so many things if we work together, if we help one another as well. Rock climbing is another activity which helps the youngsters to face fear. Once again, you are taken to a rock climbing site, and what is it? It is looking at facing fears, having confidence in what you're doing, and enjoying it as well. Obstacle course, there are a number of activities that we do on an obstacle course. Once again, helping one another, working together, a team building aspect part of it. That is part of the obstacle course once again. We spend 2 or so hours almost every day working through some of these activities. The other thing that we do is group dynamics. That is a problem-solving activity. And as we know, once again, it's exposing the mind to how can we when you face a problem, how can you solve that? How can we work together to solve a problem together? And you find that, obviously, once they get the results, it's usually very, very rewarding with that. Archery is another activity that we do, which is also very, very important, which is connected to setting goals. And like I said, very, very important for us for each and every one of us to set goals in life. And so there we get them to do it, to use that particular activity as a metaphor. So if you aim, you need to aim where you're going. And then you need to monitor that. Did I aim properly? Did I reach my goal? Or what did I do? So that is another activity that we do in the outdoors. We also have lots of fun. There is a lot of singing and dancing that we do out there. So it is not just work, 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 but there is a lot of fun that we have during the camp. Yeah, more activities to do with fun. Yeah, we find that, like I said, fun is part of the camp. We make sure that all the activities are connected with fun.
Ieri câte aveați? 5 ani? 6. Aha, acum ai 10, nu?
Da.
Am înțeles. Îți mai aduce aminte ceva de atunci?
Nu mai știu sigur.
Nici de mine tot aminte, nu? Nu. Da. Am înțeles. Bun, acum că ai revenit pe instituție, ceea ce mă bucură că l-ai adus pe taică-tu. Și taică-tu a venit până acolo, a venit cu mulți colegi și prieteni și oameni deosebiți. Încă o dată mă bucură și mai mult. Dar spune-mi, ai stat de câteva zile aici, sunt de 3 zile de zile aici.
Da.
Ce mai vreau? Și ceva interesant te-a atras? Ai văzut ceva?
Da, mi-a plăcut atelierele.
La care e atelierele?
N-am fost, m-am uitat.
Ai făcut așa, pe lângă insulă și de cât ai selectat? Și ai văzut ceva mai interesant la care ți-ai mai mult?
Da, seara am fost la...
Astronomia acolo?
Da, la astronomie și...
Are domnul Big ăsta o atracție la voi acolo, vă aduce, vă arată, nu?
Da.
Dar pe Dan Milici l-ai cunoscut cu roboței? Nu l-ai cunoscut. Dar ne scoți roboței, că să uite prieteni ai pe insulă. E și Victor Șutac, l-am văzut, nu l-am invitat încă aici, dar mai am timp. Și este acolo un domn cu barba, l-ai văzut? Nu? Ca din poveste, nu l-ai văzut?
Nu.
Nu? Mircea, să te arăți mai des, să te vadă. Sunt interesanți acolo la... Vezi că au și roboții, au mai multe lucruri acolo, ea trebuie să spune să le scoate. Dar am văzut că mai e un prieten, nu?
Da.
Și el ce face? Că l-am văzut puțin mai... Are și un atelier, am văzut, nu?
Da, cu NeoQB.
Neo ce? Niște cuburi în formă de bilă, nu?
Niște bile în formă
de cub.
Mai diverse...
Ce e pe lângă tine?
Da.
E de aici? Ai văzut cum îl cheamă? Stai la microfon, să vină lângă tine.
Da.
Zi.
George, vino un pic.
George! Scuză-mă dacă te deranjăm, ne vedem mai târziu. Pregătești cubul cu bile? Sau bila în formă de cub? Interesant. Cum fi asta? E bila în formă de cub?
Nu, sunt mai multe bile.
Mai multe bile. Salut, George! Tu ești prima dată la Atlantykron, nu?
Da.
Am înțeles și... Interesant. Dar ia spune, de 2 zile ești aici, de când ești aici? De ce nu microfonul? De ieri. Una, două, am zis bine. Și ai dat tu o tură așa, ai văzut ceva pe aici?
Da.
Ai văzut. Ceva interesant?
Știu, aproape tot aici.
Aproape tot. Ai cartografiat-o? Nu, nu te-a interesat. Bun, spune-mi așa de ceva interesant ai văzut până la urmă, că am fost pe aici.
Da.
Ce?
Am văzut că există oameni interesanți pe insulă.
Mersi. Altceva. În afară de oameni.
Păi, diferite cluburi foarte interesante.
Cluburi? Ai fost în club azi noapte? La DJ Scuba?
Nu! Adică cluburi de diferite chestii, de șah, astronomie, de chestii de astea.
Aha, aha.
De origami.
Te-ai oprit la careva interne și te-a atras mai mult?
Am fost la origami și mâine merg la artă de nu știu care, nu mai simt. Și Artă decorativă, da.
Artă decorativă.
Și am mai mers și am mai mers astăzi și la astronomie.
Azi?
Da, azi.
Dar au pus când soarele ăsta pe căldură ăsta pun telescopul?
Am fost la niște prezentări.
Am înțeles. Deci până la urmă interesantă intuiția asta, nu?
Da, foarte interesant.
Dar aveți o problemă. Cum demonstrați voi că ați fost aici?
Prin poze. Acestea sunt niște bile care pur și simplu, pentru că se cumpără sub formă de cub, se numesc NeoQB. Din ele se pot face diferite chestii. Dodecaedru, icosaedru, tot ce se poate.
Adică putem învăța și noi?
Da. Oricine vrea, la cort.
Oricine vrea la cort?
Oricine vrea să învețe, vine la cortul meu. O să vedeți, este un acoperiș verde lângă cort. Eu de obicei stau lângă acoperiș, deci n-aveți cum să mă arătați.
Ai vreun program de vizitare?
Începând de la ora 9 dimineața, la prânz nu pot, că merg ori la scăldat, și pe la 6 nu pot, că merg la scăldat. Merg doar m-am doar pe seară, de la 5.
Aha, înțeles. Deci, dacă vrem să învățăm să facem, cum îi spune?
NeoQB.
Cum zici tu?
NeoQB.
NeoQB. Cum ai?
NeoQB.
Bine. Deci am înțeles că ai un port acolo și tu de la ora 9 la ora 11 faci baie și ne arăți să facem cum?
Nu. De la ora 9 până pe la prânz vă învăț, de la prânz până pe la 5 vă învăț.
Uite,
și după
colegii mei au pus deja acolo. Da?
Și după aia am programul meu cu alți prieteni. Și la 4 merg la clubul de artă decorativă. La artă decorativă e la 4.
Eu am mers mai târziu. Eu la club am mers mai târziu decât tine. Nu eram la vărsat, dacă mergeam la cluburi, dar bun, am înțeles.
Ok.
Bine. Îți mulțumesc că ai venit să ne spui cum e cu
NeoQB! NeoQB!
Am înțeles. O să țin NeoQB. Mulțumesc. Dar totuși să te gândești la... Poate amândoi. În afară de poze, ce luați de aici când plecați? Poze, imagini, articole, în afară de asta, poate ceva, amintire. Vă gândiți, nu acum să spunem, NeoQB, nu după eu.
Premii!
Bine, bine. Salut, mersi. NeoQB. Dacă e... Voi fi gata? În primul rând, Gabi Vărsan, dacă e gata cu... Moderator și domnul Alexandru Mironov. Eu decât să-l salut și o să spun câteva cuvinte la început. O să dau lumină și pe public, da? Gata?
Michael, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Wonderful. Welcome to Atlantykron. Maybe everyone can give a welcome to Atlantykron.
Welcome to Atlantykron.
We've got about 418 people out here who've been anxiously waiting to learn about your work, about Leonardo da Vinci. And so thank you for being with us virtually all the way from New Mexico in the USA.
My pleasure.
So, hello New Mexico, Sorin Depanovic speaking. Michael,
Hi, sir.
how is the weather there?
It's beautiful. It's fantastic. How about over there?
We survive after almost 40 degrees. How is there?
Celsius.
Celsius first. How is there in New Mexico? I know it's hot in Romania. You still online with us?
Yes, you're fading in and out a little bit vocally, but I can see images of everyone, and I see a big light in the middle.
This is good.
I see somebody waving over there. Hello.
Can you imagine that 480 people listen to your DVD we all now know how to think like Leonardo da Vinci. So my name is Alexandru Mironov, I'm a writer in Romania. So let me ask you some questions. Are you sure that every one of us could become Leonardo da Vinci in the very near future? All of us.
Well, that is the idea, that every single person, every one of us is born with the potential to think like all of the greatest geniuses who ever lived. And I chose Leonardo, he's my favorite. When I was a child, I had two heroes. One was Superman, and the other was Leonardo da Vinci. But I found out that Superman was only a comic book character. But the good news is Leonardo was real. And the more I learned about him, the more amazing he seemed to be.
It is a pity that Leonardo has missed his century. He should have been born maybe 300-400 years later, shouldn't he?
Well, he lives, the great thing about Leonardo is he represents all of the human potential that we are born with. And by studying Leonardo's life and his work, and especially by studying the principles for thinking like Leonardo, we can all develop our ability to be more creative, to learn faster, and to live a happier life.
It was very interesting what you did, to take the 6 parameters. Arte scienza is very typical for Leonardo da Vinci, and that it doesn't happen to everybody.
Well, you're right. This is, unfortunately, many of us just develop one or the other of those two modalities. Known to use the intuition and our creative mind, and to connect those two parts of the mind. And as you suggested, Leonardo da Vinci is probably the greatest role model in all of human history for achieving that balance.
Michael, think about this wonderful world we live in. We are here on a very small island in the middle of the Danube. We have a big screen, you are on a big screen, and 480 people, young people are looking at you. They are all waving to you. And there are only, the moon is somewhere behind us. The Danube, which is the biggest river of Europe, is passing nearby. And we speak to each other. We can transfer knowledge. We can transfer, words from such a great distance.
Well, this is the principle that Leonardo referred to as connessione. Connessione. Everything connects to everything else. And it's truly miraculous that we can connect to each other and have this conversation. 500 years ago, Leonardo predicted that someday humanity would be able to communicate in this fashion. He also used connessione as a means for guiding us to think about how one discipline connects to another. And I know that you have such a marvelous curriculum that everyone is studying so many different subjects. And what Leonardo encourages is that we explore, we learn in as many different areas as we can, and not just intellectual, but also artistic, musical, and the physical side. I see that your curriculum has a wonderful mind and body program, including study of Qigong, which is something that I'm very passionate about studying and teaching myself. So it seems that everyone is getting together and learning how to become a Renaissance man or woman, just like Leonardo da Vinci.
Let me just give you an example about comunicazione during Leonardo time. It seems that the Vatican had sent a priest to China to just search if it is possible to put the Christianity over there. Our man was there, he tackled the people around, he wrote a letter to the Pope, yes, we can. And the letter started to go to Europe, and it went there. And the Pope wrote a letter back. And it took 36 years between the first letter and the answer. That was Leonardo's time, comunicazione. There was not the same Pope, there was not the same emperor in China. Things have changed. It was during Leonardo da Vinci's time. It's one wonderful example. I always give it to my students.
Well, we did put it in as the 7 principles, but I think patience is probably another important one too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Mike, we thank you, all of us. It was wonderful. We shall take whatever you have already sent to us, and I hope to have your books translated here.
Yeah, I think
Fantastic.
Yeah.
One practical thing is I hope everyone got the mind map brochure that I sent.
We did. Hither, our friend Hither gave to each one of us such a map. So I have my grand...
what I hope everyone will do is make a mind map of everything you're learning in this wonderful adventure so that you can think more like Leonardo da Vinci.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. It was quite a pleasure.
Yeah, before Mike.
It's the middle of the night here in Romania. You are still behind, but you're going far. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much.
Avem întrebări pentru Michael? Avem întrebări din public? Vrea cineva să întrebe? Vrei? Michael?
Yes.
Okay, we have additional question for you.
Hi Michael, I'm a big fan of mind mapping, and I was preparing today to present a mind map that we did today during the morning session. I can show it on the other iPad that we have here. My question for you is, are you a paper mind mapping fan, or are you more of a computer mind mapping fan?
A very important question. I believe you need pen and paper, because when you make your own mind map, you engage your brain in a much deeper, more profound way. I believe that the computer mind map is very useful for exchanging